Understanding the difference between hazard and risk in risk management. 1. Definition of hazard. A hazard refers to any potential source of harm or adverse health effect on individuals, property, or the environment. Hazards can be categorized into various types, including physical hazards, such as fire or radiation, chemical hazards, like toxic substances, biological hazards, such as pathogens, ergonomic hazards, related to workplace design, and psychosocial hazards, like workplace stress or violence. 2. Characteristics of hazards. Hazards represent the inherent properties or characteristics of substances, activities, or situations that have the potential to cause harm. Identifying hazards involves assessing their nature, severity, and potential consequences on human health, safety, and the environment. 3. Examples of hazards. Examples of hazards include electrical hazards, such as exposed wires, hazardous chemicals, like corrosive substances, biological agents, such as viruses or bacteria, mechanical hazards, like moving machinery parts, and environmental hazards, such as extreme temperatures or natural disasters. 4. Definition of risk. Risk is the likelihood or probability that a hazard will cause harm, combined with the severity of the potential consequences. It involves assessing the exposure to hazards, the vulnerability of individuals or assets, and the potential impact on health, safety, the environment, or organizational objectives. 5. Components of risk. Risk comprises three essential components: the likelihood or probability of harm occurring, probability; the severity or impact of harm if it occurs, consequence; and the exposure or frequency of exposure to the hazard. Risk assessment quantifies these factors to determine the level of risk associated with specific hazards. 6. Examples of risks. Examples of risks include the risk of chemical exposure leading to poisoning, the risk of fire causing property damage, the risk of ergonomic hazards leading to musculoskeletal disorders, the risk of biological hazards causing illness, and the risk of psychosocial hazards affecting mental health. 7. Relationship between hazard and risk. Hazards and risks are interconnected concepts where hazards represent the potential sources of harm, and risks quantify the likelihood and consequences of harm occurring. Risk management involves identifying hazards, assessing associated risks, implementing controls to mitigate risks, and monitoring effectiveness to ensure continual improvement. 8. Risk management strategies. Effective risk management strategies focus on hazard identification through inspections, hazard analysis, and risk assessment methodologies such as risk matrices or quantitative risk analysis. Mitigation strategies include implementing engineering controls, administrative controls, personal protective equipment, PPE, and training to reduce risks to acceptable levels. 9. Importance in occupational safety and health. Understanding hazards and risks is critical in occupational safety and health to prevent workplace injuries, illnesses, and accidents. Employers, workers, and safety professionals collaborate to implement risk management practices that promote a safe and healthy work environment. 10. Regulatory and organizational considerations. Regulatory agencies establish standards and guidelines for hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control measures in various industries. Organizations develop risk management policies, procedures, and emergency response plans to comply with regulations and ensure employee safety, environmental protection, and business continuity.